Hey everybody, it's John again. He made another banger, that public address, so I'm gonna address it too, because I don't offhandedly watch John's videos. But like if public says something, I'm like, oh, that means all the Negroes gotta get on this. So here's yet another Negro talking about John. He's looking more raisiny than ever. So I'm not gonna do the same thing I did last time of like playing the whole video and reacting to the whole thing. I'm starting after the intro on this one, so let's get into it. Let's see what John has to say in his with his lovely dogs. Man, maybe if he treated his wife as well as he treats his dog, she would have stayed with him.
When I was growing up, my dad was in the Navy, and he was a cryptologist, which is quite appropriate for this topic since that's what code breaking is all about. And
Breaking the
we
code.
would get stationed in different places all around the world, but oftentimes they would be with the same group of families. We would end up getting moved around from one place to another, and my friends would show up at the new place. So that was really cool. So I had a best friend from the time that I want to say like 5 or 6 years old, I think maybe 6 years old, well into my late 30s.
Oh.
So this is a friendship that lasted a really, really long time.
Okay.
And when you live
So you know how to have relationships, just not with women. Got it.
on base, there's tons and tons of stuff to get into.
Oh yeah, also in the military, in a very, well, not very, but like a mostly isolated setting, even more isolated than what I'm used to hearing about, because they all moved around, the same group of families together.
And back in those days when parents weren't really paying attention anyway, being on a military base gave parents an additional layer of, I guess, security, safety, and knowing that their kids were okay. Because they really could only go so far, and hell, there were military police all over the place, and you're always going to run into somebody who's going to bail you out of trouble. Anyway,
He's not wrong.
I had so many misadventures, I can only tell you.
I'm gonna wait until he says something a little bit more interesting.
Anyway.
All right, here's the part.
So when we meet that perfect girl,
he was talking about his best friend.
You know the one that you think is gonna make your life right. She's gonna make you a man. She's gonna take you from being a boy to being a man. You're gonna learn everything you ever wanted to know, and you're gonna have personal, full-time access to your own female body. Oh,
brother. In case you didn't hear that, let's run it back. First of all, it's her job to raise you, apparently. And second of all, let's hit that note one more time.
Meet that perfect girl. She's going to make you a man. She's going to take you from being a boy to being a man.
That's her responsibility to raise you.
You're going to learn everything you ever wanted to know.
Uh-huh, she's your educator.
And you're going to have personal, full-time access to your own female body.
And she's going to be your sex doll. Ain't that some shit? This man is divorced, by the way. Keep that in mind. Every time you hear John Griffin's voice and the things he says, keep in mind, he's fucking divorced.
Oh my God, it's going to be the best. But before you can get there, there's a commitment involved. And as a man, when we go in to make a commitment, well, we have a certain understanding of what that commitment means.
Do you?
For me, and I think for a lot of you guys, that commitment means what I just described. You know, and it's even in
the whole thick and thin thing.
You know, you take this woman and this man, you know, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and health, all that stuff. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know? And so we anticipate that that's what we're getting. We're getting that level of commitment.
Sure.
And we have every reason to believe that she has the same understanding as we do. Unfortunately, that's not always the case.
Why is that, John? Just go ahead and tell us why your wife left you.
So where men are accustomed to that idea of being loyal and having each other.
As somebody who loves dogs, I really hate that this guy has like 3 beautiful dogs. I'm glad he has companions that he can take care of, and the dogs are, even just for me looking at these videos, the dogs are very well taken care of. I can tell from here, they have beautiful shiny coats. They are well fed. I love that. But as somebody who's been on the internet long enough to know that people use their pets for clout, I can tell he's using those beautiful, well raised, well bred dogs to spew this fucking like what the fuck? At access to your own female body, we can all guess why his wife divorced him. But but let's go on.
Back, women don't.
Mm.
But when men go into that relationship, into that marriage in particular, that vow that is said strikes a chord with us. You know, you're saying it there in front of God and everybody. You know, all your friends, your family,
For those
friends,
who believe
her
in
family,
God.
everyone's there, and we're all saying it together.
Sure.
You know, in sickness and health, and richer or poorer, and all that stuff. To us, it sounds like the kind of relationship we had with our buddies, with our best friends. Like, that's the way we feel about it. It's like we're...
If you gay, why don't you just marry a man? Why don't you just go marry your boy? Because the relationship that you have with your wife is not going to be the relationship that you have with your best friend unless y'all fucking. So just marry your boy. I mean, well, I can tell he's at least 20 years older than I am. So back then in American history, that couldn't be a thing. But like y'all should have been heterosexual life partners at the very least. You not fucking your boy. Your boy's not, coming home and like whatever shared duties y'all may have, be it cooking dinner, be it be it a lot of things, be it taking care. He has kids, so being taking care of the kids, at that point in American history, same-sex couples also couldn't adopt. So there's a lot that he could do with his boy, his husband, now that he couldn't legally do back then. Still could do it, but not like with any legal protections. But like, damn, if you think getting married is the same as your best friend, then marry and fuck your best friend. Like, cause that's just different. First of all, legal shit. Like, if you stop being friends, that's it. But if you get divorced, that's a whole nother set of expenses and emotional turmoil for some. Some divorces are amicable. And something tells me this lady's living her best life. But like, and also, would you talk about your boy like that? Would you say that because it's your best friend, you have access to a male body anytime you want? Like, what the fuck are you saying, dog? Like, I don't think John is so wrapped up in his bitterness towards his ex-wife, he does not know what he's saying.
We're in for good, no matter what. I mean, I could probably still call my old best friend if I needed to dispose of a body. I think he'd come and help me, not ask any questions. Like, there are not many people like that. That's what you think you're getting with a wife. Unfortunately, that's not the way they're made. Now, I'm being general here, and I'm sure there could be some women out there that might meet that criteria. Women who perhaps have had a lot of male companionship, like good father, good brothers, that kind of stuff growing up.
Oh, not the fathers. Not the that goose steps into blaming single moms. That's what that does.
Would be potential opportunists for having that same kind of belief about marriage. But in general, the vast majority of women are not in it for that. Women connect with you because they believe it's in their own best interest to do so. That is their...
Isn't that why everybody does something? Like, why are you bashing women just because they want to protect their own best interests? And also, who listens to one man talking about a majority of women when he's like, there's only so many people you can be with, right? Like, you haven't experienced the majority of women where you live, let alone in the world. Like, I don't understand people who follow people who say shit like this. Like, when I talk about white people, and if you haven't seen John, he's white and very privileged. The Navy, come on now. We can harken back to history of centuries of colonial violence hosted by white people and even some Asian countries. Where the fuck in history is majority of women anything that he says they are? Like, please direct me to that book or that podcast or the historically based podcast or audiobook or something. I need to see it for myself. Like, I don't understand the people that believe this shit. I can definitely understand why he says it, because he's bitter as fuck, but why would you believe that? Like, why would you listen to a divorced person? I'm trying to logic something that isn't based in logic. That's my problem.
For nature. Going back to the beginning of time, women had to care for babies. They had to know that they were going to be protected.
And now we're talking about the patriarchy. The matriarchy doesn't run like that. There were plenty of matriarchal cultures that unfortunately got wiped out by colonialism. There is no beginning of time with that kind of shit. Cultures have always been different. His beginning of time is medieval Europe. Okay, kids, I've seen enough. John, it's too late for John, but don't be like John.